I love to explore the human condition. I mean, people do all sorts of things, and they're especially with the internet nowadays, you can witness people from all around the world doing a million different things, but there's a few things that everyone has in common. They all have a mind, they all have a body. Absolutely everybody. And I'm fascinated by this. Why are we here? What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
I I seem to be, as you seem to be, a conscious entity. So why is this conscious entity in this body, in this physical space? And that seems like it's really far removed from calisthenics and training and all this. But calisthenics and weightlifting and movements and parkour, all of this stuff is just an exploration of what it is to be human.
Yeah.
Human, humans think, humans feel, and humans move. That's what we do. And so I like to take some time out of my day in a quiet, nice space, and I like to really deeply explore this. And I found it really helps me in life because perfecting your movement also becomes perfecting your behavior. It
Mm.
becomes perfecting your character because character is nothing but long-term behavior, and behavior is nothing but a series of actions, and actions is nothing but human movement. And the movement comes from your mind. You
Yeah.
choose how to move.
It's a very interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
I think, especially like working out and moving is very important for everybody. Also because of the discipline, as you said, the behavior you learn from moving, but the discipline you get from working out, it shapes you as a human being outside of your workout.
Excuse me. No, 100%. I mean, if you honestly make, no matter what type of training you do, if you make it a practice, the same was true of my art and my illustration. It became a practice. I wanted to learn how to perfect or how to master this illustration practice. But to do that, I have to master myself because the thing that is doing the illustration is me.
Yeah.
It's my mind imagining what's going to be illustrated, and it's my body trying to match what I see in my mind, which takes a lot of mind body calibration. It takes a lot of building up my nervous system in my hands and teaching them how to make lines in certain ways. But it's all just me. I mean, this podcast, this is you. Everything you create is you. You consciously chose to create this, and you're moving your body to make it happen.
It's a very cool way to look at it.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're mastering so many aspects of your life. And what I found is that if you can see it this way, um, the progress is much much faster than if you don't see it this way and you're just doing it unconsciously. Because most people go through life very unconscious; they just react.
Yeah.
And the body and mind is designed so that we can do that. There's been a meme lately I've seen, NPCs. They
Yeah, yeah.
call people NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
All that is you're just not consciously thinking about what you're creating.
Yeah.
What do you create with your thoughts? What do you create with your body? What do you create with your emotions? If you're thinking about this, you are a conscious creator of your own life.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking about this, you're reacting, and I guess now you're called an NPC. This is what my son tells me.
That's funny.
He keeps me up to date on all the memes.
Do you think there are some people that just literally don't have the capacity to be as conscious as other people?
It's it's difficult to say. I've obviously never been inside another person's body or
No.
mind.
Yeah.
I will say that I've worked with a lot of athletes, and a lot of these athletes started off being very unconscious in their practice. They were much more goal oriented in the sense that whether it was boxing or bench press, they would think about bench pressing the 200 pounds. They would think about knocking this guy out that's on the opposite side of the ring. Um, but they were all able to change and go inward and start to think about the process of how that happens. What do I have to do with my shoulder joints and my shoulder blades? What does my chest have to do? What mind state can I put myself in that is the most advantageous to the bench press? What mind state can I actually put myself in that is most advantageous to a boxing match? And I found that once you turn everybody's attention to that, because the outside world is it's glamorous in a sense. It really piques our attention.
Yeah.
I mean, even in this room, there's colors everywhere. There's smells. I see you here. I'm talking to this interesting guy
Mm-hmm.
from another country. This all really grabs my attention. But to go inward and use your feeling sense and feel yourself and pay attention to your thoughts. This is the inner journey that is often called like mysticism or metaphysics. It's been done for thousands and thousands of years. But this is more difficult for people, but it's only because they haven't done it in my experience. As soon as you start to turn someone's mind, their focus inward, usually they start unfolding right in front of themselves really quickly, and it becomes very easy. Now, I will say a lot of people, the biggest problem I find is people are scared. There is a large unconscious fear of going inward, of knowing exactly who you are. A lot of people are terrified of who they are.
Yeah.
I was like this when I was young. I had a somewhat rough childhood, and that kind of rubs off on you. And I have a brother who's 1 year younger than me. So we're so close in age. We were very competitive, and both of us were living a stressful childhood, and we took it out on each other. Especially once I hit puberty, 12, 13 years old, I started getting testosterone, and out of nowhere, I was so aggressive. And my brother and I getting into arguments and wrestling around turned into punches and kneeing each
Wow.
other. Oh, it was terrible. Uh, but I felt like I was losing control of myself. And so real quickly, I had to start discovering, how do I get control of this? How do I rein this in? Because I don't want to do this. But, when my brother irritates me, there's a reaction inside.
Yeah.
And that reaction was possessing me in some sense. So I real quickly had to gain control of that. I had to go inwards and see myself for what I am. And I, just like everybody, I'm convinced, has the capacity for violence, aggression, greed, jealousy. It's in everybody. We all can do it. So that scares a lot of people. A lot of people are also scared that they're just not good enough. They think they get whatever they have in their head. They get some sort of goal. I want to get the girl. There's some girl I want, but she'll never like me if she knows how nerdy I am, if she knows how weak I am. They're terrified to look in. They're terrified of what they might find.
Mm-hmm.
But with this inner philosophy, the greatest thing is once you get past that and you go inwards and you really start to know who you are, it gives you conscious choice. It doesn't matter what you think, what you feel, what's going on the inside. You can choose. You can choose from this wide range of possibilities that exist within you. Yeah,
So
I'm a little carried away there.
no,
sorry.
no, no. I agree with you 100%. But the problem is, how do you go inward and become conscious like that? I think
In the
that's probably the hardest part. I think a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of people necessarily know this, but as you said, I think a lot of people are scared to go inwards and become conscious, to take control.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of it's fear, but of course, a lot of people just don't know. The thought has never occurred to them, and it's not popular in our culture. Now, I find the images of it can be somewhat popular. Like, we see images of kung fu masters, or we see ninjas in the movies doing things that seem all nearly superhuman. And, how do they do that? They spent a long time going inwards and mastering the self. And you're seeing the outer expression of that, what happened. So a lot of people idolize this without even knowing what it is. They assume that these people got this way. They got to some level of mastery just by focusing on, I don't know, focusing on becoming a ninja, But becoming ninja, becoming an amazing parkour athlete takes going inwards and knowing how to move the body and all these things we've talked about. But to do this, in the beginning, it's almost always the same process. And it's been the same for, as far as I can tell, for thousands of years. Like, I go back into history all the time. I love ancient history because you find this inward journey written about. You find it in pictures and symbols all over the place, every country in the world I've ever looked. And it always seems to be the same. You have to take time, and you've got to make space, and you have to be quiet. Especially in the beginning, close your eyes. Get rid of the outer stimulus. Stop, close your eyes. A lot of people might call this in the beginning meditation. Meditation doesn't necessarily have to be sitting still. It can still be movement. I constantly consider my movement a meditation. My training is a meditation. But in the beginning, you've got to close your eyes. It works if you can even plug the ears. Get rid of all outer distractions, because at first, almost everyone in the world is trained to pay attention to what is outside them. They're already, so you have to shut all that out and then start to go inward. A lot of people in the beginning will focus on their breathing. Once you plug your ears, once you close your eyes, you go inward and you start to pay attention to your breath, because the breath is a movement that is inside the body, and it will create ripples of pressure that move in and out of the body. They're real subtle, but if you start focusing on them, those ripples of pressure, when you inhale, now that inhale is creating pressure inside the body that moves all the way through the core. And then you exhale. Now you're releasing pressure. But if you tune into this, you will get a physical feeling sensation of your entire inner body. You'll really start to tune into the feeling sense, and this is usually the beginning. And I find this is usually the first thing I teach, and then I'll move people into the actual movements. I'll get them in a meditative place, shut out the outside world, get them to learn how to focus inward on their feeling sense, and now have them move because now they're starting to feel their joints, they're starting to feel their muscles. Eventually, you start to feel the tendons. I'm to the point now. I know the difference when I move between the feeling of my ligaments, my tendons, my muscles, my lungs, my internal organs, and it took time. But yeah, it's just turning your attention inwards, getting rid of the outside distractions.